Well, I think Louisiana Tech's a really good club, and they had some adversity this weekend. They had the scenario where they played the late game. They had to get up early on Saturday. They had to beat a very good Cal State Fullerton club today. I thought they had a lot of momentum, and then in the infield outfield they lose their dadgum catcher Diaz, who was a really good player. They hit the infield pop-up at the end, and he slams into the wall and looked like he, jammed his knee up. I think that really hurt him. It's kind of interesting how the game works out. They lose him early in the ball game, and we lose Reed because Reed gets hit in the hand, early in the ball game as well. So I don't think either one of us were, at full speed with our rosters tonight because of injury, but they deserve a lot of credit. They had a great year. They have a really good lineup. They pitch it well. They're very well coached. They're a really nice club. And I think if we're playing them at their place, I think if we're playing them at a neutral site, might be a little bit of a different, ball game. But, I think Zach just went out there with a purpose tonight and just really was dominant. He's striking out. I guess he faced 23 guys, something like that. And he strikes out 10 of the 23 he faces. That's pretty dominant. And, really it all worked around his fastball. There wasn't a ton of hard contact. There at the end, he got to 109. He loaded the bases. A little pop-up in the center field, and he walks a couple of guys. But, we went right to Riggs, and Riggs was just, dominant. And for a guy who threw 30-plus pitches on Friday, we really felt like he was going to be a 1 or 2 hitter type scenario for him. And but he just was dominant. He got some big hits. Obviously Rook had a huge hit in the ball game, and what can you say about Robbie? He's a guy that gets 3 different hits tonight without the ball leaving the infield. I think that says a lot about his game and really understanding who he is. So we had a lot of people contribute tonight. We're going to see how Mr. Reed Humphreys is tomorrow morning, because if we lose him, it's like losing 2 different guys. So hopefully we'll get the good report from Dr. Linton tomorrow morning.
Questions for student athletes. We'll start on the second row.
Zach, on practically all your strikeouts were either swinging or check swinging. Did you think they were going to be an aggressive offense and you could come after them and get them, bite them some pitches?
Yeah, I knew they were. I knew they were coming into this game. They were looking to swing. They were looking to put up some runs, and I just went with my fastball primarily. It was it had good life on it, and then later in the game, around the 3rd inning, I started getting command over my breaking ball, and I started using that as well.
Go to the front.
Ben White, Commercial Dispatch. Zach, when Rigby got the 3 outs or whatever, you were about the 2nd or 3rd guy to meet him coming off the field, showed a lot of emotion. You talk about just what you were feeling when he got you out of the jam and just what Rigby was able to do in those 3 innings he pitched.
Yeah, it was amazing. You come out of the game, you load the bases, you got no outs, and then a guy comes in there and strikes out the first 2 and then gets a lazy fly ball in the center. And I don't really know how to put it in words, but yeah, I had some emotions flying, and it was awesome.
Go to the front right, and then we'll go back left.
Logan Lowry, Daily Journal. Zach, did the rain delay, did it affect your pregame routine at all, and how did you kind of approach that?
No, because there wasn't like a rain delay in the middle of the game, I was able to just kind of push back everything and, still do what I needed to do before the game.
All right, we'll go to the back left.
Zach, how, confident were you in taking advantage of a team who had to play 2 games today with you guys on a full day of rest?
Yeah, I didn't really look at it like that. I went out there and I wanted to establish my fastball and get my defense working. And, they made some amazing plays behind me. And, chips kind of fell how they did.
Brett, stay in the back. Go ahead.
Brent Marcus Hunter, WAPT. After the game, you guys didn't dogpile. You just kind of went out there and shook hands. Was that more because you expected to win this one and, you have bigger fish to fry?
Yeah, we were as a team, we're really excited to win this. This is a big regional with 3 really, really good teams in it, and we had to play well to win it, and we did that. But we talked in the locker room after the game. We've got a bigger mission. Winning a regional was not our goal from the beginning of the year. Our goal is to win a national championship, and we haven't accomplished that yet. So when we accomplish that goal, we will celebrate and we'll dogpile. But as of tonight, we're really excited. We're really happy, but we're not done yet. So we thought it fitting to treat it as a business meeting and as a business trip, and we did that. And I'm happy with how he played and how he responded after the game. So, yeah.
We'll go to the back right.
Zach, Tyler Griever, WJTV. Your performance in the SEC tournament against Alabama, how much did you try to carry that on over into this start and to pull out another quality start?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I was able to really show something in Hoover, and it's kind of like I was able to remember muscle memory, and I just went back out there and I tried to do the same thing. I tried to establish my fastball early and let my off-speed work after that, and then, of course, involve my defense.
Front right.
Zach, Easton Colvin with 24/7. What's it like having the bullpen that you do behind you and you're getting back into that starting role? What's it doing for you out there?
It gives me all the confidence in the world. It feels like no matter what scenario I come into or leaving, the guy that they put in behind me is going to come in, get the job done.
We'll go to the front with Ben and then over here to the left.
Brent, y'all bust out in that first game for 9 runs, hit it all over the park, and these last 2, it just seems that y'all just the small stuff, the little things. How versatile do you think this offense is, and how many ways do you think y'all can win with that offense?
Yeah, that's one of our strengths as a team. Like you said, we scored 9 early on, and then we faced 2 really good arms the last 2 games, and the righty from Fullerton and this guy who started this game. So, we're just, as an offense, we're willing to do what it takes to win the game. If that's hitting doubles in the gaps and hitting balls over the fence, we're going to do that. If it takes getting bunts down, moving guys over, and playing a little small ball to get the runs we need, that's what we're going to do. But, anytime pitching staff throws up a 0 like they did tonight, it makes an offense comfortable knowing that whatever you put on the board is going to be enough because our pitchers have been as dominant as they have.
We'll go to the front, Mike.
Brent, Mike Bonner from the Clarion Ledger. I know you don't focus on this win too much because you have other things ahead, but how much do you consider last year and the struggles you guys went through, and how much sweeter is it because of what you went through last year?
Yeah, the core of our team, a lot of the guys were a part of that team last year, and it helped us grow and get to this point. So, we know what it feels like to not succeed, and that helps us succeed even more and, helps the success be a little bit sweeter. So I'm proud of the guys that were here last year and the way we've rebounded this year and the way we've led and, to get us to this point.
We've got 2 more questions for the players. We'll start in the front and then go to the back.
Zach, obviously to go from the bullpen into a starting role, it takes a different level of command to kind of get through the lineup multiple times. How have you grown to the point where you've got that command? What was kind of the key for you to developing that?
I think it's just really working. I put in the hours. Me and Trent Waddell, we literally worked on it every single day. In those games that I didn't pitch, I was just chomping at the bit. I was ready to get in there. And then I told myself if I did get that opportunity, I was going to seize it.
Steve Robertson, Dogs Bite, Jeans Page. Zach, when you had some struggles early in the season, did you ever think you'd be here pitching for a regional championship?
I knew we'd be here, but I didn't know if I would be the one starting the game. But I'm glad things have worked out like they have.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Brent. Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
Good job, guys.
We'll now take questions for Coach Cohen. Start in the back left.
Coach Cohen, you knew how well Louisiana Tech was hitting the last few games. I guess, were you worried about that coming into this game despite Zach Houston being on the mound?
Yeah, I feel like, you watch them on film and watch what they did in this regional. Those arms they were facing from Fullerton, pretty darn good arms, and they took good swings in some key situations. I thought the game they played earlier today really was impressive. Their at-bats, the way they handled the offense. Coach Goff, Coach Wells, Coach Ostrander, they've done a really good job with this baseball team. And they've, Louisiana Tech's got a great tradition going all the way back to Gravy Patterson, but it's really amazing what they've done in a short amount of time.
We'll go to the second row on the left.
John, having Zach come on like he has with Hudson and Sexton still there, what does that do just for the strength of your staff and the strength of this team?
Well, I think, we have some guys who love competing with each other to get that opportunity. You got Pilkington sitting right next to me keeping the chart in case he has to pitch tomorrow. That guy wants to pitch too, and boy, his numbers are pretty darn good. So he's kind of chomping at the bit to get that opportunity as well. I'm just really proud of these kids because they've just come so far, and I think Brent said it best. I mean, we have a core of guys who really had a chip on their, they still do have a chip on their shoulder. They want to show the world that they're better than what happened a year ago. But I think that coupled with some newcomers and some good work in the summer and, kind of coming together in the fall and their early portion of spring has really created a really nice ball club.
We'll go to the front to Ben and then the back left.
Yeah, you've gone to Rigby a lot with the bases loaded. Can you just talk about just how easy that option was tonight? And then you mentioned that he was only our one or two guy y'all thought. What made y'all stick with him there to the ninth inning?
Well, we make a lot of decisions based on misses. So when Zach got to 117 or I thought on our chart it said 109, but I'm reading 117 here. But he had some big arm side misses, and when you have arm side misses, the delivery's really breaking down. And you're asking me about Riggs, he kept getting to his glove hand side, and when you get into your glove, that means your delivery, you staying on line, and because he's a low arm slot guy, there's much more of a tendency to miss to your arm side and maybe hit the right-handed hitter or get in on the right-handed hitter. So the fact that he was getting to his glove and getting away from the right-handed hitter, the ball just came out of his hand really, really well. So I think we would have had to have a crowbar to get it out of Rigby's hands tonight because he was just feeling it. He's an unbelievably competitive kid. All of our kids are competitive, but he's on a different level in terms of the way he competes.
Back left, and then we'll come front.
Coach, with you guys getting a full 24 hours to rest and relax, and your opposition getting 2 or 3 pretty much, did you see that as an advantage?
Oh, I think it was an advantage all the way. I mean, when you look at what, Fullerton and Louisiana Tech had to deal with, Friday night, it's not a nightmare because all these kids grow up playing summer baseball and having to do what they did. But, boy, it doesn't happen a lot in college to where, they're getting into bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, they're getting them up at 6:30, they're out here at 8 a.m., and they got to finish a ball game up. That's difficult. And then, they have to play another ball game. Tech does, and Fullerton has us in the nightcap there. And then, they had a tough schedule. There's no question about it. It's kind of the nature of how weather works, and it's kind of the nature of how the NCAA tournament works. And, I think we were very fortunate that for the most part the weather was, kind of in our favor.
Come to the front, Mike.
John, with Rigby already going once in the regional, how long was his leash necessarily, and why did you go with him in that situation?
Well, we had right-handed hitter, and Riggs is one of those guys that can just throw fastballs and get a lot of people out. We knew we needed a ground ball. He's one of our best ground ball guys. Didn't necessarily need the strikeout with a 4-run lead. We were thinking more ground ball in that situation, but he did get the strikeout. In fact, he got 2, and then he gets the pop up to center. So that was our idea behind that. And we're saying, hey, I'm talking with Wes Johnson, and I'm like, Wes, if he can just get us through this little jam right here, let's take him out. But the stuff was so good, and Wes goes down to the end of the dugout. He's like, Coach, he's going to threaten to kill somebody if we take him out of here. I mean, he's like a caveman down there. I mean, that kid has a different look on his face when he's competing, and he did not want to relinquish that baseball.
We'll go to the back, and then we'll come to the front right.
Coach, after winning the SEC and getting that number 6 national seed, knowing how difficult these regionals can be, is it almost a relief to be able to get this thing taken care of in 3 games?
Yeah. Hey, when you're coaching the SEC in any sport, when you win, it's a relief. There's no question about that. There's very not as much joy and a whole lot of relief when you're fortunate enough to win some ball games. And I more than anything, I'm just really proud of these kids. Yeah, I think winning it in 3 instead of 4, which is the point of your question, is significant because if you have to play the game tomorrow night, it really changes the nature of your schedule. Although, we definitely wanted to win this game and end this thing tonight. But, we did have Pilkington available, and because he didn't get to pitch, we're going to have to simulate some stuff for him tomorrow and kind of create a starting type scenario for him. Because, we're probably at some point in time, we've got to get Pilkington back on the mound, and there's some other guys as well.
Come to the front, Ben.
Brent was talking about just the versatility of this offense. Can you just talk about these last two games, kind of grinded out offense and just kind of what it does when y'all can hit it long or just hit it, shallow and just spun it all over the bar?
Well, this ballpark, especially tonight when the air is heavy and the ball's just not traveling, you got to find a different way to score because you're just not going to hit a ball at this ballpark under those conditions. They hit some balls really hard, and right off the barrel, our kids know that it's not going to leave this ballpark. So when the wind's blowing out, you got to have a plan against certain guys. When it's not blowing out like tonight, you got to have a different plan. I thought our kids did a great job of being ground ball, line drive oriented and just seizing the moment when we had some opportunities to score. We did. And, I think Robbie's pretty symbolic of what we're trying to do tonight. Robbie doesn't hit a ball out of the infield. He gets 3 hits and, ends up scoring I guess Robbie didn't score a run for us, but he drove. Did he drive one in? He didn't drive one in either. But I think, he had 3 great at-bats, pressure at-bats, did elongated innings. And, I thought Gavin's RBI with 2 outs was just huge. The ball hits in the 4-hole right there. Rooker's ball, is a 2-out. RBI was huge. I think for whatever reason with 2 outs, our kids have really been able to simplify their swings and get big hits for us.
We'll go second row on the right with Bob, and then we'll come to the front left.
This is back-to-back nights we're talking about, 2 different pitchers having great performances. As good as the players have been, what kind of credit does Wes Johnson deserve?
Oh, Wes has done a heck of a job with them. And Wes has really opened, our eyes to some things involving TrackMan and about spin and about, I feel like our kids have just had an incredible experience because, I feel like the 2 of the best pitching coaches in the entire country have worked with our pitching staff this year. Butch did a great job with them. Butch is responsible for recruiting a lot of these kids, and Wes has just come in and just seamlessly taken over our pitching staff, which is, it's really hard to do. When you have the shadow of somebody like Butch, who did a great job, Wes just stepped in and took it over, and our kids love him, and he can really communicate, and he really can break down the delivery in a way that these kids lock onto, and his weighted ball program and the things that he's doing strength and conditioning wise with these guys has just enabled them to really hold on to their velocity and actually gain velocity as well.
Come to the front.
Coach, from your perspective, when you look at Zach's development, from being, a big arm reliever to being a guy you can throw out here in a regional final game and give you, 6+ innings of, 2-hit ball. I mean, how has he gotten to that point in your eyes?
Yeah, I just think he's really matured. I think it's a combination of several things. I think Wes has done a great job with him. I think his summer in the Cape was big. And quite frankly, I was saying this earlier, when you have a nucleus of guys that has a chip on their shoulder and they got punched in the mouth a little bit a year ago, that's a dangerous group of kids, man, because they want this bad. And they show up and work their tail off every day. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow morning, but they're going to come out here. It's going to be 90-something degrees, and we're going to get our work done tomorrow morning. We let them choose if they want to do the morning or the afternoon, and they will grind right through it and give us the same effort that they gave us tonight. It's a great group, and I'm glad you guys asked this question because I was so proud of the fact that they handled it in such a business-like fashion when they won this thing, because they know that they have a bigger gold mine. And that's not to say that this isn't a big deal. It's a big deal. Winning the SEC is a big deal. Winning a regional against these teams is a big deal. But they're really set on these goals, and it's fun to watch them accomplish them.
All right, last 2 questions. We'll start in the back, and then we'll come to the front to Ben.
All right, Coach, that was actually my question about the fact that these guys are taking the business-like mentality. Did you know that going into this, and how do you feel about the fact that your guys are going into this like that?
I was talking to Nick Mingione and our staff before the ball game. I said, hey, if we win this thing, I wonder how they're going to respond. Are they going to jump up and down? Are they going to dogpile on the field? because we don't tell them to do it or not to do it. It's just kind of something that's spontaneous. And the way they responded was pretty businesslike. And I have to admit, I was very impressed with the maturity of our kids there.
Come to the front. Last question, Ben.
Lafayette's obviously got to beat Arizona at least once tomorrow, but can you just talk about the possibility of facing Lafayette, the team that put you out in 2014?
Yeah, they're really good, and I can tell you the truth. This is how superstitious I am, along with the rest of our staff. I don't know if I can name 3 of their players on their team right now, just because we're so superstitious. We don't want to do any research until we win this sucker here, and then move forward there. I did see him play a little bit today online, but not very much. I know they're a very good club. I know they're on fire. I know they have a pretty high RPI. I know Arizona's a very dangerous club as well. So whoever we get in here, it's going to be somebody that's battle-tested and really good and can beat us. And I think all of our kids realize that.